Okay, so we have here the primary hemostasis again. So, again, the primary hemostasis involves here or activated by a desquamation process. Pag sinabing desquamation, it's just a tissue injury. Okay, so once you have a tissue injury, it will activate both your vascular intima. Your vascular intima pertains to your blood vessel. And we have also here your platelets. And again, your primary hemostasis is not just as effective as your secondary hemostasis, making this one a short-lived rapid response. And because of a tissue injury, so once your blood vessels been injured, it will expose your procoagulant substances. Pag sinabing procoagulant, ito yung mga substance na kailangan natin para magkaroon ng coagulation or clotting process. Ano yung ma-expose na mga procoagulant substance if you have a tissue injury? Number 1, collagen. Ang collagen makikita sa blood vessels natin. Ma-expose ito pag may sugat tayo. And again, once collagen is exposed, so again, collagen magbabind ang ating platelets to that through your GP1B 9-5 complex. Ano pang procoagulant substance aside from your collagen will be present in your endothelial cells or your blood vessels? Tissue factor, factor 3 ay makikita din sa ating blood vessel, endothelial cell. And the tissue factor, the factor 3, okay, kanina, di ba, how are you going to activate your extrinsic pathway? So, that's 7, 3. So, since the factor 3 ito, kailangan mo lang ng factor 7, okay, to activate that one, then it will activate your extrinsic pathway of your coagulation. And eventually, it will proceed with your common pathway. 10, 5, 2, 1 na activation. Pag nag-activate tayo ng coagulation factors, dapat lahat ng coagulation factors are normal. Lahat ng coagulation factors are not destroyed. Pag merong isa doon sa coagulation factor natin na destroyed or decreased, something like that, it will not proceed with the activation, with the clotting process immediately. Magiging defective ang ating clotting process. So again, once exposed ang ating endothelial cells, because if you have a tissue injury, it will expose your procoagulant substance, which includes your collagen. Collagen ay kailangan ni platelet natin, that's your primary hemostasis. Tissue factor ay kailangan ni factor 7 natin, which is your secondary hemostasis. Okay, so we have here the primary hemostasis again. So we have your blood vessel. Other name for that is your vascular intima. So again, the primary tendency here of the blood vessels to help stop the bleeding process, to prevent further blood flow or further blood loss, we have here your vasoconstriction. Okay, so we have the vascular intima. The blood vessels serve here as a barrier to prevent the contact between the blood and the non-blood component. So kung itong blood vessel natin, we have your blood component here sa loob, and these are your non-blood component. So itong blood vessels natin serve here as a barrier para mag-prevent ang contact nito dito saka dito. Kasi remember here that your blood here, within your blood vessels, sa loob siya, dapat hindi siya nagka-clot. So, pag nag-contact silang dalawa, magkakaroon ng clotting process. Okay, and therefore, your blood vessels here should help here to serve as a barrier to prevent the contact between your blood and your non-blood component. So, we have here the different layers of your blood vessels. So, we have the first one, we have the innermost layer. The innermost layer made up of the AC or the endothelial cell. Okay, so the innermost layer here, the endothelial cells involves in the following: immune response, vascular permeability and proliferation, and hemostasis. The next layer, we have here your elastic fibers, and then we have the subendothelial layer is primarily made up of your connective tissues. For your veins, it's made up of the fibroblasts and collagen. For the arteries, made up of the fibroblasts, collagen, and we have also here your smooth muscle cells. Okay, the next slide, we have here the properties of your vascular intima, your blood vessels. It could perform here, number 1, anticoagulant properties. Pag sinabing anticoagulant properties, That's being performed by the blood vessels pag wala tayong tissue injury o wala tayong tissue damage. Okay, so anticoagulant parang it's because there again na normally, diba, hindi nagkaklat ang blood natin. Your blood vessels, on the other hand, helps here also performing the pro-coagulant properties. Okay, pag try to perform that one pag may damage or may tissue injury tayo. And lastly, okay, your blood vessels also help here in the clot dissolution, the process called here the fibrinolysis. Okay, so we have here the different properties of your blood vessels or vascular intima. The first one, we have here the anticoagulant properties. Again, anticoagulant properties of your vascular intima is being activated if you have a normal conditions, wala kang tissue injury. So the first one, again, remember that your vascular intima serve here as a barrier to prevent the contact between your blood and your non-blood component. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng tissue injury, ma-expose itong collagen. Remember that collagens found in your endothelial cells and your blood vessels is the binding site of your platelets. At the same time, it also contains the tissue factor na pwede mag-bind sa factor 7. So therefore, dapat hindi sila na-expose para hindi sila mag-bind. Pag hindi sila na-expose, sila mag-bind, so you're able to perform here, or the blood vessel is able to perform here, anticoagulant properties. The second one, how your endothelial cells or vascular intima are able to perform anticoagulant properties, because that one try to secrete substances which has the anticoagulant properties. Example for that, we have here your prostacyclin. Prostacyclin is a product of your icosanoid pathway produced by the enzyme prostacyclin synthase. And this prostacyclin inhibit the platelet activation. So pag sinabi inhibit the platelet activation, okay, pag present ito, it will not activate the platelet. Pag hindi na-activate ang platelet, hindi magkakaroon ng clotting process. Pag walang clotting process, that's anticoagulant. So talking about that one, ito ang ating icosanoid pathway. Icosanoid pathway, there are two pathway. One here para mag-produce ng thromboxane, and the other one here mag-produce ng ating prostacyclin. Kanina na-mention ang prostacyclin which inhibit your platelet activation. So the process, the pathway of your icosanoid pathway, other name for that is your cyclooxygenase pathway. So itong pinaka-precursor substance to start here with the phosphatidylinositol. Kailangan mo lang ng enzyme, phospholipase A2, para ma-convert in your arachidonic acid. Then, kailangan mo ng enzyme na cyclooxygenase para ma-produce ng prostaglandin G2. And then, we have here, converting that one to its isomerase, isomer. So, we have here another enzyme peroxidase para magkaroon tayo ng PGH2. Then, this one is acted upon by dalawang enzyme. Pwede siya, so will be acted upon by this enzyme thromboxane synthase. If this one is acted by thromboxane synthase, you produce here thromboxane. And thromboxane help para mag-clot ang magkaroon ng clotting process by activating your platelets. Pero ito, pag dito siya, your PGH2 is acted upon by the enzyme prostacyclin synthase. Ano produce natin is the prostacyclin. Or other name, PGI2 is your prostacyclin. Again, this prostacyclin inhibit the platelet activation. Once it inhibit the platelet activation, it will not activate the clotting process, and therefore, magiging anticoagulant ang ating prostacyclin. Okay, aside from your prostacyclin, we have also here the other substance which has the anticoagulant properties. Nitric oxide, so ang ginagawa nito ay vasodilate. Diba, para mag-clot tayo, para mag-stop ang bleeding, dapat vasoconstrict. Ito sa kanya, vasodilate. And therefore, it will not help here para mag-stop ang bleeding, making that one as anticoagulant. Another one, tissue factor pathway inhibitor. This is inhibitor for your factor 3-7 complex. Again, pag nag-inhibit ang any of your coagulation factors, activation, it will not proceed with the clotting process. Since ito ay inhibit yung factor 3-7 complex natin, therefore, hindi ma-activate ang ating extrinsic pathway, and therefore, wala kang clotting process. Again, so making this one as your anticoagulant. The other one, we have here the synthesis of your substances which try to enhance or try to prevent here the formation of your thrombin. First one, we have your thrombomodulin. Your thrombomodulin would help here in the formation of your APC protein S complex. Ano ginagawa ni APC protein S? Ang meaning of your APC, activated protein S complex. Ano ginagawa ni APC protein S complex? It try to digest the factor 8 and factor 5. A stand for activated factor 5, activated factor 8. Again, pag sinabi natin, again, any substance here that would help here or eventually try to destroy or activate your coagulation factor, it will not proceed with the clotting process. Since ang ginagawa nito, it digests your factor 5 and factor 8, so mahirapan magkakaroon ng clotting process, serving this one as anticoagulant. And we have also your heparan sulfate. Heparan sulfate enhance your antithrombin activity. Ulit, para magkaklat tayo, fibrinogen, kailangan natin ng thrombin para magkaroon ka ng fibrin clot. Since pag may antithrombin ka, na ginagawa ng antithrombin, papatayin niya sa thrombin. Okay, wait lang. Okay, to explain the mechanism of your thrombomodulin. So basically, this is your blood vessels. Okay, your blood vessel contains here the thrombomodulin. So, pag meron kang thrombin, magbabind dito sa thrombin. Okay, so pag nagbind ng thrombin, magpa-form ka ng thrombomodulin. So, pag nagkaroon ka ng thrombomodulin, this is your endothelial cell protein C receptor. Again, pag nagkaroon ka ng thrombomodulin, ma-activate ito. Pag na-activate ito, mag-release siya ng protein C. Pag nag-release ito ng protein C, ang protein C natin pupunta sa plasma, sa circulation natin, magbabind siya kay protein S kasi kanyang cofactor ang protein S. Pag nagkaroon ng protein S, protein C complex, that become your APC protein S complex. Ang gagawin ni APC protein S complex, papatayin niya sa activated factor 5 and factor 8. Pag pinatay niya na, hindi ka magkakaroon ng clotting process. Okay, that's how your thrombomodulin complex is activated. Ulit, your blood vessel contain the thrombomodulin. Pag nag-bind si thrombin kay thrombomodulin, magpo-form siya nito, thrombomodulin complex. Your thrombomodulin complex activate this one, endothelial cell protein C receptor, para mag-release ito ng protein C. Pag nag-release ng protein C, ang protein C natin pupunta sa plasma. Ang protein C natin magbabind kay protein S. Pag nag-bind siya, magpa-form siya ng APC PS. Ang gagawin ni APC protein S, ida-digest na si factor 5 and factor 8, wala kang clotting process, and therefore serving this one as your anticoagulant. How about your heparan sulfate? Heparan sulfate act here as antithrombin. It enhances the activity of your antithrombin. Meron tayong substance na antithrombin. Ang gagawin nito ay i-enhance na yung activity na antithrombin. Ulit, fibrinogen, para ma-convert sa your fibrin clot, para magkakaroon ka ng clotting process, kailangan mo ng thrombin. Pero pag wala kang thrombin, hindi mako-convert ng fibrin clot. Pag wala kang fibrin clot, anticoagulant. So, ginagawa lang ni heparan sulfate, enhance nila ang activity na antithrombin para ganyan. I-stop niya ito. Pag stop niya ito, wala ka nito. Okay, so, what you have here, hindi ka magkakaroon ng clot formation. So, this would serve here as your anticoagulant properties. Okay, the next properties of your blood vessel, we have here we have the procoagulant properties. Again, the procoagulant properties is being activated once you have a tissue injury. So, pag tissue injury, so ang properties natin ng blood vessels natin to stop the bleeding or activation here. The first one, your blood vessels will undergo vasoconstrict. Para mag-vasoconstrict siya, it needs serotonin. And then your damaged blood vessels will try to expose your procoagulant substance, collagen. Ang collagen, magiging binding site ito ni platelets natin through its GP1B95 complex receptor. Another one, pag nagkaroon ng tissue injury, it will also expose your factor 3, which is your tissue factor, which serve here as the binding site for your factor 7, activating your extrinsic pathway. Collagen, para ma-activate ang ating primary hemostasis through your platelet activation or platelet adhesion. And your tissue factor would activate your secondary hemostasis through your extrinsic pathway activation. Another one help here that in order for you to have here the clotting process or procoagulant properties is your P-selectin. The P-selectin try to coat here the endothelial cells, also try to trigger also here the binding of your platelets and WBC para mag-clot, karon tayo ng clotting process. Okay, as a summary, we have here, once you have a tissue injury, first thing going to happen here would be your blood vessels would undergo vasoconstriction. Again, the blood vessels undergo vasoconstriction through your serotonin. And then it would also try to expose the collagen that would enable the platelets to bind to that through its receptor, the GP1B95 complex, to undergo the platelet adhesion. Simultaneously, the platelets were going to undergo the platelet activation, the platelet secretion, and we have your platelet aggregation. What aided your platelet aggregation will be the ADP. And ADP is produced or could be found here on the dense granules of the platelets. And you end up with the formation of your primary platelet plug. Okay, another properties of your endothelial cells, it involves also here the fibrinolytic properties. So pag sinabing fibrinolytic properties here, so it help here the process it try to enhance the process of your fibrinolysis. Again, the fibrinolysis is the process of your clot dissolution where it try to digest the clot to prevent that one to accumulate within your blood vessels in order for you to resume your normal blood flow. So we have here the fibrin clot. What you are needing for that would be your plasmin that would be converted to your fibrin degradation products. Again, your fibrin degradation products includes your X fragment, your Y fragment, and your D dimer. Okay, however here, para magkaroon tayo ng plasmin, your plasmin is being produced by the liver in the form of the inactive na protein or the hormone in the form of your plasminogen. Okay, para maging plasminogen natin, para it would adhere in your fibrin clot, kailangan mo muna ng activators. May dalawa tayong activators. We have here, although you could have another activators, these are the two main activators. Again, ang activators natin, you are needing that one in order for you to convert your plasminogen to the active form na plasmin. First one, we have the TPA, your tissue plasminogen activator. And we have another one, the UPA or the urokinase plasminogen activator. Ang pinoproduce lang, makikita lang sa endothelial cells natin would be your TPA, tissue plasminogen activator. Again, this activator help para ma-convert ang ating plasminogen into your plasmin, which is the active form para ma-dissolve ang ating clot. And making your endothelial cells involved in the fibrinolysis. Okay, thank you.